Well, greetings again, everybody. And this is Dr. Bill Wyatt with the American Orthodontic Society. And I want to explain something about, we named this appliance the Mitchell Appliance. Dr. Mitchell, Dave Mitchell, was head of the department in Atlanta for about, I think it was 17 years, something like that. And that's where I showed my cases that I had treated and done. He came and spoke to the group, the big Dallas Orthodontic Study Group, and that's where we had a meeting at that time, and when we first went there. And Dr. Mitchell and I got to be good friends, and he came to the house and worked with me for several years there, and they gave him a hard time back in Atlanta. And so we stopped using him, and he finally later on passed away. But he was a very smart man and did the first set of brackets bonded onto teeth, but didn't show it because he was etching the teeth. But let's look at what he did here and what we came up against. We could not get some people to wear elastics. And so we're going to just come up with a appliance that just almost makes them wear elastics. And this is what it was. And I won't show it from start to finish here. But this is in the plastic brackets on there. And we just have a round wire up on the front at this point right here. Now this was a case that really needed to have some teeth out, and so we took the upper teeth out, I think, on this guy, and left the other teeth in and brought this back in here with this. All right, there, we'll go through that. And we kept those teeth together back there, and we widened that upper arch out and brought it back. Now, here's how this works. You make a rectangular wire that fits in to the laterals and the centrals. I'm sorry that picture disappeared there. Let me get it back up there. We go back here. All right. Here we enlarged this, made this, and we put a spring back in here with a certain amount of pressure on it, and put a little lock on it, and it went over these first teeth right up in here. What's happening here that this thing goes away when I draw on it? All right, you can cut that out and I'll just pick up right here. Okay, you got it going, huh? Okay, sorry for the interference there, but I needed to draw in here where we came across on the upper part, and we put a lock in here, and this spring is condensed in with a certain amount of pressure. The pressure on this spring is slightly less than the elastics here. Say this might be, if this was 8-ounce pressure, then we'd have 10 ounces down here, or 6 and 8, or something like that. There's 2 ounces difference in there. So the 2 ounces is different is what does the class 2 correction, see? And so if a person takes this out, the rubber out down here, they've got the total spraying pressure is against these 4 teeth up here. And I had a guy who was working, he was in an orphanage there in Hearst. And I was trying to straighten his teeth, and he was not wearing the elastics. He just would not wear them. And so I came up with this thing. And another fellow there said, I'll make him wear them, I'll stay with it. And so we put this on his teeth. And I worked for about over a year and didn't get to first base. The guy just flat wasn't wearing elastics. So we put this rig on, and if they leave the rubber band out, these teeth get sore before they get through eating dinner, something like that. At least that's what he told me. And so he automatically remembered to put the elastic back in. When you got the elastic in, you got 2 ounces of force pulling this back in that direction. And it really works. But you can rig that up, put it in the auxiliary tube up here with a spring, and boy, you take this rubber band out, and all that pressure goes on these teeth right here. And it wakes people up. They don't want that. So that they take the elastic out to eat, and this will happen. And we just call it, and I named it the Mitchell Appliance. They were pretty rough with him back in Atlanta because he had been teaching general practitioners and working with me on that. And so, anyway, we went back and put this in, and this became a pretty important thing. We could use it on anybody that wasn't wearing the rubber bands, and we did. And that was so it's just a rectangular wire coming out of the motor, comes down here, and it goes in the anterior teeth like this, and then you have a spring in both sides, and the spring will be 2 ounces less than your rubber band. And so you got your rubber band in, you got 2 ounces correction, the class 2. This young man that we had worked over a year and had not gotten anywhere with him, when I put this on him, he said when he took the rubber bands out to eat dinner, his front teeth began to give him a little problem. And if he lifted off much, they began to hurt. And so he puts the rubber band back in. This just almost makes people wear it like that. And there it is again. You use the auxiliary tube up here to put this arch wire through here. This has to be a rectangular wire. Puts it in the brackets over here, puts the hooks and the elastic down here. And this has 2 ounces more force than this spring does right here. And it, as that 2 ounces brings that back, just showing if you constantly wear something, it will do the job in 1 fraction of the time that it takes if you just wear it off and on or 8 hours a day or something like that. You put it on there all the time and it'll do it in much less time. So this is something you need to learn. We pull this tooth back and put it right in that groove right there. I don't know whether I showed that or not, but there it is. That'll give you an idea. You got a rectangular wire going out here, and then you said it's got to be a rectangular wire in rectangular brackets here, and you start bringing those teeth back. You got to bring the root back too. You work with them. There it is again. It's not real fussy about making it. You just come over this bracket and come down like that. And that thing works. In other words, it'll show you what constant wear will do the job in so much less time than people think. I mean, that extra 2 ounces does the job. Now, I did this on another lady, and she went off and didn't come back in the office for, it was about 4 or 5 weeks, or maybe more than that. She came back in, and I looked in her mouth, and she had gone from a class 2 out here to a class 3. She just kept wearing this. We brought her in and took it out and told her to leave off the rubber bands, and it corrected itself. In about 2 weeks, we got her back in and put it in. It took her from that point right there. We just put a wire there, plain wire. She came back and it had corrected and made it, and we got her to this point right here in just a short length of time. So if you wear it too long, it'll make a class 3 out of a class 2. And so this is an idea for correcting surgical things we did. All right. Then we got the red dot right over this, and these teeth are going straight up and down. So we need to hold it some and get the roots of those teeth back more. And that's 1987, and we finished her up at that point. It's back there correct. So this is a quick way to do a class 3 case. I was thinking I took some teeth out, but I didn't in this case. We just had the same teeth. It moved everything back. At 2 ounces on each side, 4 ounces of force, push it back on the upper teeth, put it forward on the lower teeth, corrected this case like that. So I hope you see how to do this. This is a trick that we use in the Straightwise Orthodontics. It's not mentioned anywhere else. We have done this on many, many cases that wanted to get through the case early. We would put that on there and they wore that elastic 24 hours a day, except maybe some of them would take it out while they were eating, but they just wore it all the time other than that. And in some of the cases, we went in and put a little acrylic in the deep cusp case on class 2s. You can flatten them out, fix it where the points of the teeth will go past that easier, and that speeds up the class 2 correction also. So there we are. Now we put this under. She's wearing a splint. One of these patients, we started this on and she got hit in a car accident and she had a simple mandibular joint problem. So I sent her into a specialist in that, and they put something like that in to stop the TMJ problem. It wasn't the appliance. So here we go again. And this is 87. And here this is, and this is the spring is in here. And you can see over on this side, this is the spring, this is the lock nut, and you measure the elastic force from this tooth up to here, up to that point, from here to here, and have it 2 ounces greater than the spring force in this area right here. And I'll tell you, it'll do anybody's teeth. And you can take a dove and be, I think it could be 90 years old, and you could still correct it that way. So I hope you'll watch our channel. We're trying to do as much as we can to get people doing good, solid orthodontics all over the world. So we're sending these videos out everywhere, and we've got over 6,000 people have signed up. They signed to work with this, and we have millions of people, shoe, sofa, see a lot of these cases. So I'll hush and close up, and that's where we take that. We didn't have room. This girl was grown, and this tooth didn't have any room to come in. So we took them out, all four wisdom teeth right there, and at the age of 17 and 11 months, just back to 18 years old. And we took the wisdom, or we sent her in and got them removed. And this is a supplementary when we started. That's how the girl that went to class 3, it pulled it from out here about a quarter inch to now these centrals are over in that fashion. In other words, it pushed these out right here and pushed these teeth. It brought them back to where the elastic brought it back, tilted these teeth out. But once she started wearing it, didn't take it off and stop, and she didn't come back in when I told her to, and it went to class 3. We took that out and just put a flexible wire in there, and it, without even doing anything, it moved back and jumped over on this side. And here the young lady is that we did that on. That was like that to start with. We put that on, and it brought it back. So this is a fast way to make a person wear her class 2 elastics. And thank you for watching this and watching our videos. So I'll sign off right now. Thank you.